Hello everyone, it's me again, Teacher Arrah. We are going to have another video for a very timely English lesson. I hope you are ready, so let's start. So we are going to discuss about understanding the different verb tense. We are going to have what are the verb tenses. We are going to focus on present and present perfect tense of the verb, past and the past perfect tense of the verb, and also future and future perfect tense of the verb. I hope after the lesson you are able to identify when to use present, past, and future tenses of the verb, and also present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect tense of the verb. So let us try to discuss one by one so that we are able to identify its uses in a sentences. So we are going to have first what are verb tenses. But before that, let us first define what verbs are. Verbs do a lot of work in sentences. They show actions and state of being. They even take different forms to show time. So when do we use verb? When we use verb if we expresses action or state of beings. So meaning verbs are action words. Okay? For example, we have flew, plies, will ply. So in this example, the verb is ply. So from the first example, we have flew. It is the uh, past tense of the verb ply, and then plies and will ply. Present tense plies and will ply is in the future tense of the verb. Now, so let us have what are the verb tenses. The tense of a verb indicates the time of the action or state of being expressed by the verb. So when we say tense, it indicates time of action. When does the action happen? Okay? And also state of being expressed by the verb. So let us have perfect tenses of the verb. So what are perfect tenses? Perfect tenses indicate that something happened or existed before a specific point in time. Again, perfect tenses indicate that something happened or existed before a specific point in time. For example, we have the diagram here. So we have past, present, and future tense of the verb. So perfect tenses happen before a specific point in time. For example, past perfect happened before the specific period of time that happened in the past. For example, we have she had played violin before then. She had played violin before then. So this example is a past perfect tense of the verb, meaning that she already played violin even before. Okay, even before. So we have had plus past tense of the verb play, which is played. Okay, so the form of past perfect tense of the verb, we have had plus past tense. Okay, had plus past tense, so that is past perfect tense of the verb. Next one is the tenses of verbs are formed from the four principal parts of the verbs. So we have base form, present participle, past, and then past participle. So let us discuss one by one. The first one is the base form of the verb, smile. And when you form the present participle of the word smile, you just add is plus smile, which is in the base form, plus ing. So we have present participle of the word of the base form smile is smiling. Then the past tense of the word smile is smiled. So you just add d. Then the past participle of the word smile of the base form smile is have smiled. Okay, we have smile is smiling for present participle. For past tense, we have smiled, and past participle have smiled. Okay, another example is choose. So choose is in the base form. We form present participle by adding is plus choose plus ing. So we have is choosing. And then the past tense of the word choose is chose. Okay? Choose is in the base form. Present participle is choosing. And then past tense is chose. Past participle is have chosen. Okay, so there are verbs that we call regular and irregular verbs. So in the first example, which is smile, this is in the regular form of the verbs because when you form the past tense and past participle of the verb, it just add D. While irregular kinds of verbs form their past participle by changing the spelling. Like for example, choose. When you have the past participle, it already became chosen. Okay, so that's another thing or another lesson to discuss. What are the difference between regular and irregular verbs? Okay, so let us have another. We have progressive form. Each tense has a progressive form which is used to express continuing action or state of being. When we say progressive form, it is used to express continuing action or state of being. For example, present progressive is am, are, is talking. So we use the verbs am, are, and is plus the present participle plus the participle talking. Present participle talk plus ing. Okay, past progressive we use was, were. Past tense of am is was and is, and then past tense of are is were. So we have was, were talking. Okay, so that is past progressive. Then when we have the future progressive, you just add will or shall be plus the present participle which is talking. So present perfect you just add has, have been, and then the present participle again talking. Past perfect had been. So past tense of has and have is had. So you just add had been talking. And then future perfect will, shall, plus had been talking. So the difference between progressive forms of the verb. So present, we use are, is, plus talking. Past, we just have the past tense of are, and is, which is was or were. And then future, we have will or shall, plus be, plus talking or the present participle of the verb. Then present perfect, we have has, have been, and then plus talking. Then past perfect had been, which is the past tense of has, and have we have had been, and then future will, shall, and then have been plus talking. So I hope you are able to identify the different progressive form of the verb. Okay, so you just have to revisit all your lessons about verbs. Actually, this is just a review because since elementary days, we are already having lessons about verbs. Okay, so I hope you got the different progressive form of the verb. Now, what are the verb tenses? We have present and present perfect. Let us discuss one by one. When we say present tense, it expresses an action or state of being that is occurring now at the present time. Okay? From the word present, it is happening at the present time or occurring at the moment or now. So, example, today we honor our veterans. Polly is marching in the parade. But is marching is in the progressive form, but still it is in the present tense. Okay? So let us have another example. The present tense is also used in this way. The first one is to show a customary or habitual action or state of being. When we say habitual action, repeatedly done, or that is your habit, okay? Or express a general truth. To make historical events seem current, to discuss a literary work or literary present, then to express future time. So we use present and present perfect of the verb when we show customary or habitual state of being. General truth, like for example, the sun rises in the east. You can never change that. So when we say general truth, you can never change that certain truth, so you use present tense of the verb. And then historical events that you want to seem current, you use present tense of the verb. And also when we have to discuss a literary work, so you use present tense of the verb. And to express future time. For example, we travel to Utah next month. So this is a future event, but you wanted to express it to express a future time, you use present tense of the verb. So let us have the example. To show customary or habitual action or state of being, we recycle our aluminum cans. Okay, we recycle our aluminum cans. This is state, habitual action, or habitual being. Then, express general truth, the sun rises in the east. And then historical events. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh flies non-stop across the Atlantic. And then to discuss a literary work, we have In Grapes of Wrath, Steinbeck shows us the extremes of life during the Depression. Then to express future time, we have We travel to Utah next month. Okay, another example, we have the present and perfect tense express an action or state of being that occurred at an indefinite time in the past. It is usually formed using the helping verb have or has plus the past participle. Okay, plus the past participle. So this is present perfect. Mike has been in several parades. Then, he has played the drum in all of them. Okay, so this is an action that happened in the past, which is in a known time, meaning the exact time is not being stated. Okay, so that is present perfect tense of the verb. Next, helping verbs. So what are helping verbs? These are also called auxiliary verb, which is used with a main verb to create a verb phrase. Okay, for example, helping verb is was, main verb is reading. So, was reading is already a verb phrase. So, I was reading a book by Sandra Cineros. So, verb phrase here is was plus main verb. So, that is helping verb and main verb. So, what are the helping verbs? We have was, is, are, has, had, did, does, can, could, should, and will. So those are example of helping verb. Why is it important that we know what are the helping verbs are? Because we are going to use helping verb when we form the different tenses of the verb. Okay, next is the present perfect tense is also used to express an action or state of being that began in the past and continues in the present. In this case, perfect means complete. So, meaning, present perfect tense of the verb, the action was already done in the past but continuing in the present. So, for example, Mr. Lee has taught music at our school since 2004. So, the action here is taught. Mr. Lee is teaching in their music school for since 2004 and still teaching at the present. So, meaning, the action has been done in the past but still continuing at present. So still, Mr. Lee is a teacher of music in their school at the moment. Okay, so I hope you get it. Next, progressive form. Yoko has been taking flute lessons for 6 years. So has been taking flute lessons for 6 years, meaning Yoko has been taking flute lessons for 6 years and still uh, taking flute lessons at the moment. Okay, so that is present perfect, meaning that the action has been done in the past and continuing in the present. So that is present perfect. So we use has plus past participle taught, and then we can also use has been, which is in progressive form. Has been plus taking, which is present participle. So has been taking is in progressive form, but we can use this in the present perfect tense of the verb. Okay, again, present perfect tense of the verb is an action happened in the past or began in the past and continue in the present. Continues in the present. So what is past tense? Past tense expresses an action or state of being that occurred in the past but did not continue in the present. So meaning, this is already done in the past and not continuing in the present. For example, the two friends shared the large swing. The two friends shared the large swing. Maybe these two girls are friends before, but now they are not sharing the meaning that the action has been done in the past and not continuing in the present. So they are sharing, they shared a swing before. They were swinging for a long time. So this is in the progressive form, but it is used to express past action. Okay, they were swinging before for a long time. Okay, next is past perfect. Past perfect tense express an action or state of being that ended before another past action or state of being occurred. It is usually formed using had plus the past participle. Okay, so this is an action. Actually, in this past perfect tense, we have two actions. Uh, the first action ended before another past action or state of being occurred. So there are two actions in the sentence. Okay, but the first action has already been done before the other action uh, occurred. For example, after Marie had gone home, Kim was bored. So what are the two actions here? The first one is gone, and the second one is bored. After Marie had gone home, Kim was bored. So the past action that ended is had gone, and the second action that occurred after the first action had ended is bored. So meaning past perfect tense, um, there are two actions being compared. The first one is ended before the first one occurred. She asked her dad about the time that he had been a lifeguard at the beach. So what are the two actions? We have asked and then we have had been lifeguard. Okay, had been. Next is future tense. When we say future, this is an action expresses state of being that will occur or happen in the future. Okay? Usually formed using will or shall plus the base form of the verb. We have my family will ride the train to Chicago. So this is a state of being that will occur or will happen. Okay, next is we will be arriving at 5 o'clock. We will be arriving at 5 o'clock. So this is in the progressive form, but also expresses an action or state of being that will occur. Okay. Next is what are the verb tenses? We can also express future in again future tense can be expressed in these different ways. We are going to make our costume. They are about to begin. I have a test tomorrow. So as you can see, these examples also expresses uh, future tense of the verb, which talks about an action that will happen in the future. Okay, next is future perfect tense. What is the difference between future tense? This is will happen, and while future perfect tense is express an action or state of being that will end before another future action or state of being will happen. So this is somewhat similar with past perfect tense. There are two actions being stated in the sentence before the first one will happen before another action occur. Okay. By the time you receive this letter, she will have returned home. By the time you will receive this letter, she will have returned home. By the way, present perfect tense is usually formed using will, have, or shall have plus the past participle. So we have will have returned home. Next is after this trip, he will have been to Chicago 3 times. He will have been to Chicago 3 times. So this is future perfect tense. Please always remember different verbs or helping verbs. Like for example, will have or shall have plus past participle of the verb. So this is for future perfect tense of the verb. Next is, so this is a practice. Identify the tense of each verb in bold. Be prepared to explain the difference in meaning between the sentences in each pair. Okay. So you can have a self-test for that. And also this one. Okay, this one. Leah will begin. Let us try. Leah will begin the yard work later. Then Leah will have begun the yard work by noon. So what is your answer? What is the difference between the two? So we have here the answer. So the first one is Leah will begin the yard work later is in the future tense. Express an action beginning the yard work will occur in the future later. While the second sentence will have begun is in the future perfect tense. It expresses an action beginning in the yard work that will complete before some future action takes place or the lunch. Okay, so the difference between the first one is in the future tense and the second one is in the future perfect tense. Another one, we have number 2. Jamie lived there for 3 years. And the second one is Jamie has been living there for 3 years. So the first sentence is in the past tense. The action lived occurred in the past and did not continue in the present. So that is in the past tense. Then present perfect progressive, the action has been living, was occurring in the past, and continues in the present. Okay, that is present perfect progressive. Has been living. Meaning that Jamie has been living there in the past and still living there at the moment. Okay? So that is the difference between past tense and present progressive. Okay, and then we have also here another exam on another what's this practice that you should develop so that we will see if you have learned from the lesson. So change the tense of the verb in each sentence as indicated in parentheses. Okay, so you are asking to make it in the future. So I do not miss the bus. Number 2, were they at the party? So you are going to change to past perfect. By then, Kate had returned, changed to future perfect. The team will practice for an hour with no break, changed to future perfect progressive. And number 5, my sister dances well. So you are going to change it to past tense. Okay? So let us try. So this would be your answers. I will not miss the bus. Okay, so that is in the future tense. Then, had they been at the party, this is present perfect. Okay? Sorry, past perfect. Then by then, Kate will have returned is future perfect will have returned. Then the team will have been practicing is future perfect progressive. And then the last one is danced is in the past tense. Okay. Next is, so that would be for your review, for your own. Okay, so let us go back to the different tenses of the verb before we end this lesson. So this one. Okay. So you try to you try to memorize this. Present progressive, past progressive, future progressive, present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, and future perfect progressive. Okay? Then, again, if the action happened in the past, that is past tense, and present if it is occurring now, and future if the action will happen in the future. Okay, so those are the different tenses of the verb. I hope you have learned something from me. And till next time, thank you for watching and God bless you, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you so much.